I scored a 2-point, hurt my knee, and went to the back for x-rays and stuff. And then when I come back out, I see Cam and Charles and TD and them on the podium already. I'm on crutches like, oh, my God. Hurry up. Come on. We got to go.
Mike Tolbert, legendary Panther fullback, three-time Pro Bowler. I'm not
Three-time. Yeah.
Three-time, first team All-Pro.
Yeah.
I always think that one's kind of like a little bit more impressive because like there's no way to backdoor into a AP All-Pro.
So you really can't. You can't cheat your way into.
You cannot cheat your way in. That's to me in the NFL. That's the highest praise if you can get AP All-Pro.
Yeah.
And look. Sports writers, there's something special about being voted in a Pro Bowl because you know players and coaches and fans. But the AP All-Pro, there's no way to backdoor. So when you get that one, that's the highest praise.
And you know what's crazy is that like the first time I made it, I did it twice. The first time I made it, my agent called me and he was like, "Hey man, congratulations, you are voted first team All-Pro." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And he was like, "No, I don't think you understand." I was like, "Okay, what?" He was like, "First team All-Pro means you're the best in the world at what you do." And I was like, I ain't getting paid like that.
Well, see, that's right. You got to you have different conversations with different people. With
right.
The agent, we got to get paid the right way.
Right, exactly.
Mike, so happy to have you. And I want to talk about you being a fullback because in 2015, and really we were talking about right before we started, like, that 2015 team really did kind of start to evolve in 2011, 2012. You came from San Diego, doesn't exist anymore, now the LA Chargers, but right. San Diego Chargers. And when you came here, it was kind of the beginning of the end for fullbacks. But in our world, fullback was one of the most important positions on our offense. I always thought that the coolest thing about our offense was when we would get in there with 2-3 backs. Cam, of course, was like his own thing. At the time that you were playing that position, did you know what a special world you were sort of living in, sort of a special era of Panthers football that was just so running back, quarterback dependent?
I really didn't. You know, I knew coming here in 2012 that I was coming to a backfield already with Cam and D'Angelo and Jonathan, like double trouble, and then you had the Heisman Trophy winner into it. I knew that it was special. Didn't really know how I was going to fit, you know, at first. I just knew that I was going to play fullback and be able to do other things, man. And it was so fun because we were in a situation where we didn't really care who got the ball. Yeah. We didn't care, like, who was shining. As long as we was shining, you know what I'm saying? As long as our running back group and Cam was doing what we needed to do, it was fun. You know what I mean?
It was so fun, and even before we get to 2015, I want to talk about, you'll remember this game, 2013 in Minnesota.
Oh my God.
That I always laugh because it's the classic the Wolves speech that Jordan Gross gave.
Yeah.
I always laugh. I've still never heard the speech because we had already gone out. The specialists had gone to warm up. We had T-shirts made, but it was sort of this cool moment in the locker room before we go on that long run. And I remember you and Cam and D'Angelo and Stu being a part of kind of the birth of Riverboat Ron.
Yeah.
Because you guys were all getting the ball on fourth down, right? And it felt like before the tush push in Philly and all that stuff, like we were doing a kind of old school style. When I say we, I really mean you.
Right.
You guys are doing old school style. Did you guys as players have to petition Ron to say, hey, give us the ball on fourth down. We're big, we're strong, we're physical. We'll take the game over in those critical moments?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think Ron needed petitioning. I mean, from the jump, we would set out and, you know, Cam is always going to believe in himself.
That's true.
So Cam will look to the sideline and, hey, let's go. Like, we know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? I think the first time that we did it, it was an easy first down. So it made it easier from that standpoint.
Absolutely.
And then you look at, you know, when we call it jumbo.
Yep.
We look at, it was myself, I was 255 at the time.
Yep.
Jonathan, he was 240 at the time. Cam, he was 250 plus at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then we had Couple of like bigger tight ends, Gary Barnage, Ed Dixon, got those guys like that.
Richie Brockle, Ben Hartsock was in that group.
Right, so we had bigger bodies. So you looking at in our backfield at times, we had almost 1,000 pounds. You know, and everybody could move. You know,
I don't think anyone ever fully appreciated how good Cam's ball handling skills were. We were running double, triple option. Is it fullback dive? Is he going to pull it? Is he going to pitch it? You know, we were running RPOs in the NFL before RPO was really a thing because Cam just had a unique ability. Were you ever worried, like, how long is he going to hold this thing in my belly before he pulls it? Like, because he was the king of extending his arms to really put a ton of strain on the defense.
So I was never worried, but I was worried more so for myself because if I didn't get the ball, I was going to get smacked.
Sure.
But Cam, I don't know if you've ever played this game with Cam at practice, where he took a ball in his hand and he would say he'll try to grab it. His hands were so massive that you couldn't. It's like me holding a tennis ball.
Yeah.
That's how big his hands were. So like he had a grip on it and he could let it go like soft like a feather, or he could snatch it like snatching your soul away. So
That's a good way to put it.
Cam is 9 times out of 10 gonna keep it because he believes in himself more than he does everybody else, which every quality football player should.
Of course.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, he's gonna make the right play, and I appreciated him for that.
When we went to training camp in 2015, there was a lot of expectations. We were coming off of a really good December. In 2014, we had a playoff win. We lost in Seattle.
Right.
Do you remember, as we were getting ready for that season, did you have a sense of what was to come? Or were you sort of like, let's kind of wait and see? Because we had ridden a lot of highs and lows through the first, well, in your case, those first 3 years. Did you have a sense of what was to come in that season?
No, I mean, I'm very, I live in the moment. You know what I mean? I don't like to dwell on the past. I don't like to think about the future. I'm an optimist. I'm thinking that things are gonna go the right way. But at that point, I wanted to make it through Spartanburg.
That's right.
Because it gets so hot down there, man. I just wanted to get back to my family, see my wife and kids, and make that 53-man roster. You know what I'm saying? That was my goal. As camp went on, you could start to see some semblances of how special we could be.
Yes.
You know, and then things happened in camp that kind of was like, oh man, I don't know. But, you know, we made it work.
One of the ways we did try to all get through camp is we used to have some classic pig tournaments.
Yeah. I never won though. I never won.
You know, so I won twice.
I got cheated a couple times.
And I'm excited when I get Charles Johnson on, because nobody won more money than Charles Johnson, because Chuck would bet on me. He never entered the tournament, but he'd always bet on me, and I won him a lot of money. I never asked for any kickback.
You should have.
I should have.
You were the ringer.
Again, we're 10 years now. There's a lot of interest. I'm sure I could probably get a few bucks off him now, so I'm excited to ask him. But did you play much pig?
I played a couple times because, you know, when I first got there, I didn't really understand what was going on. Like, what's all this racket, you know, in the back of the locker room? But then I go back there and it's cardboard cutouts.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Gold taped up, people shooting the ball off the fans and stuff. I'm like, let me get some of that, because, you know, I used to be a basketball player in my former life, you know, before I started growing out instead of up. You know?
That's right. That's
you know
right.
what I mean? So I think the furthest I made was the Final Four.
Okay.
And I lost to Colin Jones.
Colin Jones, one of our special teams aces, personal protector, gunner number 42.
Yeah.
A good buddy of mine, and he was an all-time tough guy. Like he had all the different packages on defense. Played a little linebacker, a little bit safety, and then of course he was 4 phases. You played a lot of special teams as well for those groups, and then you started scoring touchdowns. You probably started to leave us a little bit.
No, man, I had to do it all, baby.
You did have to do it all.
It.
That's the life of a fullback, is you're doing a little bit of everything.
You have to.
Yeah, so I remember Spartanburg really fondly. What I remember more fondly about you, and it's one of the things I want to talk about, is your love of music and how important you controlling the aux, although I don't know, well, I certainly wasn't saying that 10 years ago, but your controlling of the pregame music. What went into that? Because I always felt like it actually gave me a great sense of calm going into a game, you controlling the music every time.
Good. So I got here in 2012, and I remember the first preseason game. You know, we would play music during practice and stuff like that, but it was always softly.
Yep.
So the first preseason game, we're in our locker room here, and I think it was the Miami Dolphins or somebody like that. And I cut music on, and I'm blasting. We having a good time, and one of Sherm came to me. He was like,
one of our athletic trainers.
Yeah, he can't. Hey, you got to turn it down. You got to turn it off. I'm like, what? Because I would play with Ron in San Diego. He knows how I get down, right? So then RV came, Ryan Vermillion. He was the head athletic trainer. He was like, if you want to play it, you got to go ask Coach Rivera. Say less. I walked right to his office. Coach, they saying I can't play my music. You like, what is this? And he goes, I was just waiting on somebody to ask.
Love it.
Turn it up. Do what you got to do. But do me one favor. When Mr. Richardson walks in, turn it down.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
So it was fun because I feel like I had a hand in starting the culture because it wasn't played around. Music wasn't played, you know, like that. But I created a couple different playlists over time, you know. And there was one specific thing, the Al Pacino speech from Any Given Sunday.
That was my favorite. That was always my favorite.
I played that in San Diego as well.
Okay.
All right. And I remember this was probably 2012, 13. Before I added it in, Coach Rivera comes to me. He was like, he called me short round. He called me short. He like, hey, short round. Remember that one speech you used to play in San Diego at Qualcomm? I was like, yeah, that's one of my favorite movies. He was like, you need to add that in. I was like, cool, say less. So as time, you know what I'm saying, gave way, I ended up putting together a nice playlist. And then we had, you know, I had practice playlists. I had what I call White Boy Wednesday playlist.
Yes, I remember
Freestyle
that.
Friday playlist, you know, Throwback Thursday. I had it all. You know what I mean? And my wife was mad because we went to Best Buy and I bought all these Bluetooth speakers that you know, matched up with each other. But it should be all right.
You did it. You said it right. Like, you nailed the culture of it. Did guys make a lot of requests? Like, I always felt a comfort, like, whatever Mike wants to play, like, I'm down. Because my feeling always was you were so good at hitting all the different styles of music and it worked together. I always felt like I was at least one song away from something I knew. Like, whether it was a rap, country, whatever, some gospel, you throw soul music in there. Like, there was all these different flavors. And I never felt like I ever had to make a request. Like, it's gonna be good. Did anyone ever come to you other than apparently Ron with the Al Pacino speech?
So Roman Harper did. He loved this song. I forget who sings it. Silento or somebody like that. Awesome. I'm so awesome. He loved that song. So Roman gave me that one. But I had a lot of people come by. Hey, Tubby, play X, Y, and Z, or play. We need some country music, man. Slow it down, you know. Or we would go to practice and have a hard practice, and Ron would chew us out, and I would come in and play gospel music, and everybody started like, "Boy, you hell," you know what I'm saying? Like, just trying to lighten the mood, man. You know what I'm saying? So
that was so important. I've said this a number of times. Like, Cam was the show, TD was like the emotional leader, and we had all these different styles of leadership. And I always thought yours was as important as any of them because you just had a great beat on the vibe of the locker room. What did the guys need? And you communicated through music. Didn't say a whole lot. You were cutting up with guys. You had a blast. Everyone knew that they'd come to you for a good time, a smile, a joke, something like that. But you did it through music, which I thought was so impressive. As I've gotten a chance to play for a long time, nobody, I'm dead serious, nobody else has ever had your feel of the locker room through music.
I appreciate
and that was an all-time, like, you got, like, music gets played in the locker room now, and of course, now I have no idea what's going on. But I was like, you guys don't understand. If Mike Tolbert was here right now, this whole place would be a vibe. So you were the king of that. Now,
I appreciate that.
You've referenced a lot of your nicknames. Do you remember? You were a guy that got a lot of nicknames and gave a few out. Do you remember all of your nicknames that you had for those years here in Carolina? You had Tubby, Short Round, which I did not know about.
I had Tubby, Short Round, DA, Derek Anderson used to call me Patty Mayonnaise. Cam sometimes would call me Tubagoo.
I remember that one.
Tubagoo.
Yeah, Tubagoo.
Tolldozer is another one that came about.
Yep.
The Vulture, because I used to steal a lot of D'Angelo and Stu's touchdowns.
That's true. The first couple of years, you did get the ball a lot in the goal line, for sure.
Those are just some of them, man. You know, it was fun, man. I enjoyed it for sure.
One of the things I remember about you uniquely in the huddle is you would always sort of squat in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't get in the huddle like on the outside. You would sit in the middle. I always wondered, I just never had a chance to ask, why would you do that?
So it's funny. So I would say 2013, right? Remember I broke my leg.
Yes.
In
You were
2013.
the first Panther ever to go on IR and come back.
Yes.
You were the first one ever.
Yeah. So I broke my leg in 2013, and when I come back, Cam's ankle is hurting.
Mm-hmm.
So Cam, remember when I first got here, Cam would just kind of bend over, say the play, snap, right? But his ankle was hurt, so he was always squatting down.
Mm-hmm.
So I got down to help him up one time, and it hurt me because it hurt my leg, you know what I'm saying, to help him back up. So we both just kind of squat down and helped each other back up. So that's where it started at. And from that point on, it was always, if you look at clips of the huddle or, you know, him calling the play, you would always see him put his hand on me to get up. From that point on, just because it was my responsibility to help him up at that point.
That's really cool. And then, like so many things in pro sports, it just becomes tradition, and it becomes this contact point of like teammates helping one another. That's really cool. Again, I noticed it for years, never asked, and it was even better than I could have imagined.
Yeah.
Another one of the things that I remember, and this goes back before I knew you when you were in San Diego, but you were the king of the touchdown dance. Yeah. You had them all figured out. In 2015 in New Orleans, I believe was the Carlton. Was that the first time you'd ever done the Carlton?
That was the first time I've ever done it on camera, yeah.
Oh, on camera. How much did you rehearse touchdown dances?
Zero. I would take a lot of requests.
Okay.
You know, people would text me, hey man, next time you score, do X, Y, and Z, or do the Carlton, or, you know what I'm saying, do the Kevin Hart dance, whatever it may be. But I never rehearsed anything. I never practiced anything. Because one, I didn't want to give the assumption that I was guaranteed to get in the end zone.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
This is a 16-game season, and, you know, the most I scored is, 11 in a year? So
you say that like that's not a lot of, you know, touchdowns, but 11's a pretty unbelievable year.
It is. It's a great year. You know what I'm saying?
Hence the vulture.
That part. You know what I mean? Like one of those Jerome Bettis where you score 3 touchdowns and get 4 yards on the day.
That's right.
But it was fun. And I like to tell everybody, like, I've always lived my life to a rhythm, to a beat. You know what I mean? I'm always upbeat. I'm always smiling. I'm always having a good time. You know, so me dancing means that I'm in a good place. If you see me with a grin on my face or just kind of in a solemn mood, something's going on. But most of the time I'm smiling, I'm dancing, bobbing my head because I'm having a good time.
Do you remember, again, there were a lot of traditions in 2015. Do you remember any unique traditions, stuff that we maybe haven't talked about? Were you ever a part of the Friday Fellowship Fridays, the Bojangles Fridays?
No.
Did you ever end up in the offensive line room?
I did.
For the Thursday ones.
Yes, because we used to watch film with offensive line after practice every day. So we've been in there with Khalil and Gross, them going crazy, plenty. I think my favorite tradition, well, I would say there's 2. Both of them actually had something to do with me, but not really. The first one is Freestyle Fridays.
Okay.
You know, I would play a lot of instrumentals, and everybody from TD to Luke even came down once. Greg is another one who's a very good freestyler.
He has a reputation that we don't really talk about, right. But Greg's got a reputation as a freestyler.
Freestyle Fridays was one, but then for me, my favorite tradition was Saturday walkthroughs, where I get the chance to just show my personality and be myself.
Yes.
And, you know, I like dress like Dave Gettleman.
That one has come up before.
Dress like, remember Bruce Campbell?
Oh yeah, Bruce. Bruce was an enormous man.
Yeah.
6'6", 6'7", cut up.
Yeah,
played
like
tackle,
3% body fat.
Oh.
So dressed like Bruce, dressed like Gary Williams, you know what I'm saying? Dancing out there on the hands team, you know, just being myself, you know, and bringing light to, like, at the end of the day, we playing a game, which is a very intense game, but we playing a game for a living, man. Gotta have fun with it.
And I think I don't know that people fully appreciate, like when fans think about a football team, they think everything's supposed to be serious.
Right.
And one of the things that I think gets overlooked is it's such a hard game, like you just mentioned, that you have to have the right people in the room that can be lighthearted, that can bring a smile to the face, because there's so many hard moments. Mm-hmm. And like even what you described with you and Cam helping each other up, like everyone needs someone to look to. And interestingly enough, and I think it's why it fits you so well, fullback is one of those thankless jobs. Like It's hard to go through a season and find a bunch of highlights, but all throughout the year and for the 5 years that you were here, 5-6 years you were here, like there's all these little moments that may get overlooked, may not, but all of a sudden you look up one day, it's like, man, we couldn't have done that without a guy like Mike. You couldn't have done that without a guy like, you know, Richie Brockle, who played a bunch of tight end and fullback for us. The AJ Kleins of the world, like guys that they're playing roles. They have their unique personality, and you just can't get through a season. Was there any? There's so many great games, and we got to play in so many cool moments. Was there any one game that you remember as sort of being unique from the rest of, like, that's one of the coolest experiences I could have ever been a part of?
Any one game?
Yeah, just something like when you think 2015, is there like a game that kind of stands out of like, that was the game of the year? That was the one that I remember more than any of them.
Well, for 2015, definitely. I think the game in Seattle was I'm not gonna say our coming out moment, because at that moment we were already 4-0, 3-0,
we're 4-0,
something like that going into it. But I think that was more or less our, as a team, understanding that we've gotten over the hump.
Yes.
You know, because Seattle had been our nemesis for a couple years at that point. But that game was back and forth. And then when Greg caught that touchdown, like, the noise level went from deafening to slow slinging and flower bringing. Like they were so sick. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the quietest I've ever heard that stadium.
Oh yeah, and that place is, you can't hear yourself think there. And
exactly.
My most sad part of that whole year when we scored that touchdown is I couldn't be a part of the celebration. I had to go on. We had a field goal to kick, so I have to be like locked in. But I heard off in the distance Joe Webb, that classic wah. So where were you? Were you in on that play, or were you on the sideline?
I was on the sideline.
You were on the sideline, so you were in the action of the celebrations. Because our sideline was going nuts. It was probably more fun than being on the field.
100%.
Because our sideline went nuts, and you were part of that.
Yeah, so I was on the sideline. I remember me and Stu were standing beside each other, and Stu, you know how strong Stu is.
Oh.
Stu grabbed me, and I thought I got shot. Like, that's how strong his left hand was. He, boom, and he grabbed me. I'm like, oh. And then he was like, toe. He just went crazy. And I was like, okay, what we do now? You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
What we do now? Then we just start waving towels, going crazy. Fozzie comes running to the sideline, doing his dance and stuff. Man, it was amazing. It was amazing.
I'm so glad you brought up Fozzie too. Like, just to think back on what that team was. All these guys, like, they were playing like what we would now consider like smaller roles on the team, but they were like household names in our locker room. All these guys fit together, and you know, I remember that from the touchdown because I could hear Joe. Yeah, I could hear Joe Webb, who played special teams for us. He was the king of preseason 4. Yeah, just kill people in preseason 4, play quarterback, and then, then he'd come back to special teams and talk junk, and then I'd have to get hit in the mouth on punt. but that's for another story. So for me, Seattle was the highlight. I think the last one for me, and again, there's so many games we could talk about, was the home game versus Arizona. To be able to be on the field and celebrate, really, it was a pretty extended celebration on that kind of cold, crisp night
Yeah.
I was saying before, one of my other disappointments is I never got to be in one of the team photos. The Cam-led team photos, because inevitably it always happened when there was defense on the field, or in that particular night, special teams was on. But you, being an offensive player and being with Cam, you probably got in a bunch of them. Yeah. Do you remember the beginning of the team photo?
I remember that night in particular, but I don't remember the beginning of the team photo. It was a night game. I can't remember.
Was it?
I'm trying to remember who we were playing. But it was one of those things where like it started as Cam and like 2 or 3 other people. Cam and DA and Joe and maybe Dorsey and Jericho or somebody. Right? And then it was like, hey, y'all come get in this picture. You know what I'm saying? So now it went from 2 or 3 to 10 to 15 to 20. You know what I mean? And then it was dabbing on them. Then it was shooting at the stars, like whatever it was. But I actually missed most of the celebration at the Arizona game.
Did you?
Remember, I got hurt in that game.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I feel so. Man.
So I remember scoring. I scored a 2-point conversion or something.
Yeah, we went for 2 up like 27. Right. I couldn't figure out if Ron was just rubbing it in or what was going on.
So I scored a 2-point, hurt my knee, and went to the back for X-rays and stuff. And then when I come back out, I see Cam and Charles and TD and them on the podium already. I'm on crutches, like, oh my God, hurry up! Come on, we got to go. But man, 15 was a special, special time.
The thing I remember about the podium is thinking, as 2 cars are front, so we almost became witnesses to an accident. We'd have to sit here for a little bit longer, but I remember every time I'd ever seen a podium, you're watching it on television, and so you think that the confetti is just raining down in the entire stadium.
Right.
And the podium looks like larger than life. And what I laughed about when we were down on the field is the guys were up on the podium, and the podium was kind of small. And the confetti was like kind of local and about 20 yards. In fact, I went back the next day. We had like a family meeting getting ready to go to the Super Bowl. So my wife came and we were trying to get everything organized, and I walked back out in the field, and the confetti was like in like a 30-yard circle. Like most of the field wasn't under confetti, but when you watch it on television, you think the whole place is covered. And I just
camera angles.
It's all about camera angles. I just remember laughing, thinking, this is so funny to me that like what you see on television, like there's a lot of production value to this.
Absolutely.
And that was such a cool night to be able to celebrate with our fans. In that stadium. It's certainly something I will never forget. You'll never forget, although I forgot that you missed a little bit of it.
I mean, it was the last like minute or so, but you know, I'll never forget the times that we had that year. You know what I'm saying? On top of the football, you know, because we obviously played great football, but you know, just traveling with each other and being at each other's houses, and you know, the pig tournament, that type of stuff that you don't normally get to reminisce on.
We were saying this before we started, like I think what every player misses about the game is certainly the game, like the Sunday afternoon, being with the guys and competing, but it's all the other stuff. It's the camaraderie of the locker room, it's the relationships, it's, you know, in real life you don't have people yelling "Tubagoo" at you,
right?
But that's real life. But like the relationships, the bonds, all the funny things you do, all the ways you build relationships. That's what's so special about football. And then when on top of it, when you win, and you get to just kind of build those bonds deeper and deeper and deeper, you know, that's what's so special. And I always thought what was really cool, and again, we've talked about this before, is that group in 2015 was building together for a long time. That wasn't like an all-star team that got put together, you know, in 9 months and then boom. Like we'd gone through a lot. You know, the thing that I think now people forget is like 2013. You've been here for a little over a year, and there were real rumors of Ron not being able to stay as our head coach through about a month of the season. And that was right before the Minnesota game that I referenced. Like there were highs and lows for many, many years. Cam was in the car accident.
Yeah.
Greg with TJ and going through all that stuff. Ron with his house being burned down, and there was all kinds of these little personal
lifetime movies.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were doing it together, and then to be able to kind of climb that mountain as a group was a really, really special time. And I just think we had a blast. And I think all of us, we would do anything to go back and kind of relive that. I always think that it's always kind of disappointing that you're so focused on what's going on at the time, you don't get to fully appreciate it until it's done.
Live it and love it until everybody else is like, man, that 15 time was something special. But now it's kind of like, I was working.
I was working.
You know what I mean? But I do tell you this though, the bonds, like you said, the bonds we created with each other. When you say miss, like me personally, I don't miss the game. I miss this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Sitting in the car talking with my guys, or in the locker room just sitting down playing music, throwing water bottles at Chuck. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. But it makes it all worth it because, like, I coach with Charles, I coach with Cap sometimes. Being able to see somebody that I haven't seen in a year and just the biggest hug, you know what I'm saying? The love that is still there regardless of how long it's been. So I see Cam probably twice a year now. Mm-hmm. And every time it's Tabagoo! You know what I'm saying? He give me the biggest hug, and it seems like he done got bigger.
Oh, there's no doubt.
He's probably 6'7".
He's still growing. He's still growing.
270 right
That's
now.
That's right.
But like 2% body fat.
Oh, no doubt.
But like it's like it's all love, and it's always all love. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part that I'm the most happy about, is the bonds that I've created from not only the coaches that I played for and played with, but the players that I've been around. You know what I mean? And not only the great players, but you know what I'm saying, the players that didn't necessarily make it on the team. The practice squad guys. I still talk to a bunch of those guys. So it's fun, man, and the characters that we had and all of that.
That was a special time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Mike Tolbert, fullback, Pro Bowler, All-Pro, king of the musicians. Now, I do need to give you one thing. Cart Talk. All right, so you notice we're sponsored by Bojangles.
You got me
now.
some chicken.
I wish. I mean, there's no chicken in here, but I do have a gift for you. Small gift. I know you guys have your training facility, so I figured I'd get you a workout shirt.
Oh, yeah.
The official Cart Talk with JJ. Yeah, that's me. Cart Talk with JJ Jansen t-shirt. I heard it's got great sweat wicking material. It's probably all cotton, but it'll wick. It'll be perfect. So there you go.
It, man.
And I've played so long that they now just make my face gray. So that's where we're at.
What's this, year 17, 18?
This is year 18.
Man,
we're still going.
Keep going.
Keep going. That's for you.
The LeBron of football.
Yep, that's what people say. That's exactly what people say. The LeBron of football. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much.
Absolutely,
it's been great.
Baby.
Mike Tolbert, keep pounding.
Always.